Yesterday was a day that will be long remembered. Madam Web.
Woof.
Dropping on the day of love, Valentine's Day. Where is that camera going? What happened there?
I'll fix that in a second.
You brought up Madam Web, and it just
Like, no.
It said no. I'm
like,
not.
I'm going to look over here. I'm
Things
not.
just instantly start going wrong.
Bail on it.
What is that? Anyway, yeah, Madam Web. I don't even know if you should say the name anymore.
Don't say it 3 times at least.
So we went to go see it yesterday, and I gotta say, it was every bit as bad as I was expecting,
Nice.
which is too bad because I was kind of hoping, with all the negative word of mouth and the fact that Sony didn't even try, and the fact that they held the review embargo until the day before the movie came out, I at least told myself, you know what? Maybe I'll come out going, well, you know what? It was better than I thought it would be, right? It was every bit as bad as I thought it would be. And I'm going to say this. I said this in our quick out of the theater review reaction. There are some people who think it's even worse than Morbius. I don't think it's worse than Morbius. But the very fact that you even have to have that conversation tells you a little bit something about how bad this movie is. This movie is wretchedly bad. And listen, whenever people say, I can make a movie better than that. No, you can't. You take the worst Hollywood film ever. You can't make a better movie than that. But I kind of feel like a lot of you could in this particular situation. I kind of feel like, what the hell was going on? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not I'm not trying to be mean. You know me, like even when I watch movies I don't like, I try to focus on what was positive in it. I try to say, hey, you know what? This thing was good and this thing was good. This movie is absolutely atrocious. And I'm going to spoil it right now. I am classifying this, if you look at the title, we are classifying this as a spoiler review. Why? So you don't have to see it. So let's start with the bad guy that you just had up there, Jonathan.
All right.
The bad guy in the film is the dumbest, worst villain I think I've ever seen in a film. and I'll go one step further than that. The actor's name who plays him, well, I'm not really familiar with his work. Tahar Rahim, who plays the baddie. Mm-hmm. It is the worst performance I have ever seen in a superhero movie. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad performer. It might have been the direction. It was certainly the dialogue he was given didn't help. And maybe he's great in other things, okay? I'm not saying that Tahar is a bad actor. I'm just saying the combination of the script, the direction, and the performance equated to the single worst performance I have ever seen in a comic book film. The line, remember how I complained about, like in the Madam Web trailer, I said there's some things there that have potential, but I was really concerned because like all the dialogue said in the trailer sounded really wooden. Mm-hmm. That's every syllable that comes out of his mouth. I had a dream. These 3 girls kill me. They must not exist so I can have a future. Like every single syllable was dry and wooden and crappy. Like it almost was like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It was just dreadful. Dakota Johnson. I love Dakota Johnson. I think she's great. I know she's quite a good actress. I know that. That is up in the head helmet up here. I know this. She's a good performer. Oh, she didn't give 2 shits about this movie. She didn't try one bit. It's like she read it and she's like, let's be honest. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do to salvage this. It's like she read this. She goes, it doesn't matter what I do. I can't salvage this. You know, who was it that reminded me the other day that the day the trailer came out, Dakota Johnson fired her agency?
Me.
Was that you, Chris, that reminded us of that?
Yes, it was. She left WME for CAA that day.
That day that the trailer dropped, it's like, you guys do Madam Web, they said. It'll be great for the career, they said. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Ruh-roh.
And listen, she didn't do herself any favors in this movie. Her lines came across as dry and wooden as they did in the trailer. That's my mom. I'll say this. There's this one scene, one very, very short scene where she kind of travels back in time in a way through her mystical threads and sees her mom while her mom was still pregnant with her. And they have a nice moment. It's a short moment in the film. And it's almost like it was a moment in the film that was like the Sesame Street game. One of these things is not like the other, because it was a nice little moment that did not fit in this movie at all. I'll give it that. The 3 girls, Sydney Sweeney, and I can't remember the names of the other 2 actresses. Yeah. But the 3 girls that Madame Web is trying to protect is the dumbest collection of characters I've ever seen assembled in a movie. Like, these characters are stupid, despite the fact that the one girl wears a shirt that says, "I eat math for breakfast." So it's really smart. Holy crap, you're really stupid for a smart person. And there's something very frustrating when you're an audience member. You know the old stereotype of, like, when you're watching a horror movie, it's like, don't go down to the basement. What are you doing? It's like every single decision, and I get it, they're young. These characters are young. They're not 3. And every single decision they make in this movie is like, how is anybody this fundamentally, existentially stupid? It's unbelievable. There's a scene, and I did warn you, this is a spoiler review. There's a scene where this evil, bad acting Spider-Man, at least in this movie, bad acting, is hunting them down. So Madame Web doesn't know what to do. So she's like, takes all these 3 girls into a forest, right? There's a clip of this in the trailer. Takes them all into the forest. They literally just witnessed this guy kill police officers, is hunting them down and trying to kill them. So Madame Web says, okay, I need to go back into town to try to figure something out. I will be back in 3 hours. Stay here, and I'll be back in 3 hours. These girls literally just thought they were about to die. Madame Web leaves, and they're like, I'm hungry. I saw a diner up the road. Let's go to the diner. And they go, and then when they get to the diner, they're like, we're not attracting enough attention. There's a booth of cute boys over there. Let's all go start dancing on the table in a truck stop diner. And they literally, like, they cut from one shot of them in the diner, like eating food and saying, oh, we should go talk to them. And then it cuts to Madame Web in the city doing some research, which is a horrible, horrible scene, because she's talking out loud to herself because, you know, the audience is so dumb. They need everything explained in verbal exposition. Anyway, and then as soon as it comes back, they're in this truck stop diner and these 3 girls dancing on the table who are trying to lay low, and none of the wait staff seem to have a problem with it. It's all good.
Oh, you know when you're a waitress and people start dancing in there. When you work at IHOP and a bunch of musical theater kids come in, you love that shit.
I love when Britney Spears comes on the music track at a truck stop full of dudes.
Put your jazz hands down and eat your pancake.
They're playing Britney Spears in a trucker stop diner.
Everyone likes Britney.
Not that I didn't like. Leave Britney alone.
Yeah,
I didn't mind.
The music was fine.
The music was fine. The music was...
The setting was all wrong.
Was fine. So the basic premise... Okay, so these characters are really stupid, and I kind of wanted them to die. You know, I was kind of like...
Like already?
I think...
Oh, my God.
I'm pretty sure I want him to catch them. I'm pretty sure I want them to die. So the basic premise, why does this dude want to kill these girls? Well, okay, so apparently he's been having dreams that sometime in the future, these 3 spider women catch up to him and kill him by throwing him out of a window. Right? This is a shot from one of the visions there. That sometime in the future, probably about 15, 20 years from now, judging by how gray his hair is in the vision, these girls with spider superpowers are going to show up and kill him. I want you to pay attention to this part because this is important. They're going to kill him by throwing him out of a window. You see, why that's a bad plan is that in the film, we see the bad guy standing on top of like a 40-story building, looking for his quarry. He's looking for the girls, right? And then he sees down on the street the car that he knows the girls are in. So what he does is, he doesn't climb down the wall. No, he jumps. He jumps a good 30 stories and lands with a superhero pose.
You got it?
But why? But you're worried that they're going to throw you out a window. I just watched you literally jump from 30 stories, but the whole thing, the spark plug, if you will, the linchpin of what is driving this story is this dude is so worried that sometime in the future, these 3 girls are going to throw him out a window.
It's the glass of the window that
Oh,
actually kills
that's
them.
right, because that gets in your ass.
You don't see him fall. All the glass, it lands upright.
Oh, and that's painful. Yeah.
That's not even webs on that poster behind you. That's cracked glass.
That's what it is. It's all about the broken glass. So I'm like, okay. So, and then I'm thinking, now I understand now we're getting into, time travel, paraphysics, and all this kind of stuff. But I'm thinking to myself, if what you're worried about from these dreams is that sometime in the future, these 3 girls that you've never met before might get superpowers and murder you someday, maybe you move. Because in his vision, he's in his apartment, the apartment he currently has. And I'm thinking, okay, move, go to Spain.
Change the door locks.
Change the door lock. You know what? Paint the walls.
Paint
the
the
walls
walls
are a different color than they are in your vision. Or maybe kill one of the girls. But no, he's obsessed that he's got to kill all 3 girls. And sure, okay, that's fine. This movie is so bad. Like every line of dialogue that the characters say to each other is painful to listen to. The one thing I will say, and Ray pointed this out to me earlier, was there's a final shot in the movie. Oh, and by the way, you know how they finally beat the bad guy? So Cassandra, that's Madam Web, she's having flashes, like as they're in the middle of the big fight, she has flashes of about a big street sign falling down. So she just kind of maneuvers herself so the bad guy's in a position where the street sign falls on him. Mm-hmm. And there it is. And then she ends up blind and in a wheelchair at the end. So more of a classic Madam Web look. And there's a shot now fast forwarding 20 years in the future where the 3 girls now have their spider powers. They never explain how they get their spider power. That's fine. The 3 girls have spider power and Madam Web is like looking like Madam Web hovering behind them. I got to say, Ray pointed it out to me and I have to admit it was right. It was a pretty cool looking shot. I would make that into a poster.
Yeah.
It was a good shot.
Cool.
It was a very good shot. I'll give it that. But nothing redeemable. I don't even know where to go with this.
I think Sydney Sweeney, the character she had to play, like the really, sheltered sort of thing. She played. I thought she played that aspect of it okay.
Oh, sure. But this Sydney Sweeney character, who's this prim and proper, really shy, can't talk to boys, good girl,
on the table.
Is walking around in a skirt a little bit longer than my belt. Okay, and I'm supposed to believe she's a super shy conservative girl. And meanwhile, she's just walking around with, like, literally 4 inches of ass crack hanging out the back.
no,
It's just
not
like,
that bad.
how am I supposed to believe
But
that
I
this
bet she
character?
takes her glasses off at some point.
Is
No,
that when they realize she's pretty?
And then she's beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. You know how instead of taking the glasses off and then they realize, oh, she's hot. Like when they decide it's time to go and dance on the table, the other girl comes up. See how she's wearing the white blouse?
Yeah.
You know, the girl at the skateboard goes, no, let's do this. And she pulls up her white blouse and
kinda.
ties it in the knot.
It's
on
the
the
love
top.
knot.
She got the little Daisy Duke kind of looking thing going on.
So
and now
is-
she has the confidence to dance on the table in front of the boys.
Is
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
superpowered, like time traveling from the 90s and using
Yeah.
all of these old
Well,
aesthetics, or
To
from
be
the early
fair, no,
aughts?
this takes place in 2003.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense to me. I actually can support that then
the
because
movie
that
takes
was
place in
very, very
2003
on brand.
because there's this whole subplot. Now, of course, Cassandra's partner, who we see in her ambulance partner, who we see in the is Adam Scott. He's in the trailer. He plays Ben Parker, who of course is Uncle Ben, and we meet his sister-in-law, his brother's wife, Emma Roberts, and Richard is off on a business trip, so he's not there. But she's very pregnant, and at her baby shower, they're playing a game. Who wants to guess the name of the baby? And just as somebody starts to form the word P, and they're like, "P," and then something happens, and Cassandra snaps into one of her visions, and then it ends with them frantically. The bad guys chasing the girls. The girls are hanging out at Ben's house. Of course, Emma Roberts goes into labor, and now we got to drive to the hospital while the bad guys chasing us and all this kind of stuff. And it ends with her having the baby and then saying, "What's the name?" But they cut away from the conversation. And then they're talking to Cassandra in the hospital that she's now blind and paralyzed, but she survived. And the 3 girls are talking to her, and she's like, "How's Ben?" And they're like, "Oh, Ben's so happy he gets to be the uncle, all the benefits with none of the responsibilities." Then the Cassandra smiles and she goes, "He has no idea." Because of course she can see into the future, right? Because Spider-Man, everybody. This movie is a bucket of shit that was poured over another bucket of shit left in the sun for several days. It's really bad.
I hate to bring up another movie because they're not like each other. I'm going to bring up the Marvels. See, the problem...
The Marvels is an Oscar-winning film compared to this.
Yeah, but the problem I have with both these movies is from the very get-go. In the Marvels, when I saw the villain and she first appears and she had her little sidekick with her, I couldn't help but just say, I was like, are these people in cosplay? Is this a villain? A real That's the same thing with this villain. That when I immediately don't take the villain seriously, and it's just not even a threat, a life threat towards the heroes, I'm already off the train. Like I can't. What makes me invest in something where the villain is laughable to me? Like it's like a slap in the face. If you're gonna put a group of whatever girls, a group of guys, whatever, give me a threat that is actually worth sticking around for to see how they defeat. Not like some guy. This guy reminded me of. I called him Edgar Wright, Dos Equis commercial. Edgar
Slightly
Wright.
younger, most interesting man in the world. That reminds me too. So the whole premise is it starts off because you see a trailer. He was with my mom when she was in the jungles of Peru researching spiders. Okay, so the reason her mom's in Peru researching spiders is because she's pregnant and a doctor just told her that her baby is going to be born with this condition that the baby's not going to survive, right? So she remembers hearing that, well, in the jungles of Peru, there's rumors of this spider venom that can save. So she goes out to the jungles of Peru and accomplishes something that the science community hasn't been able to accomplish by herself in about 3 weeks. And so, and then there's these mystical tribesmen who live in the forests of Peru who supposedly, according to legend, take the spider venom and it gives them superpowers. And of course, when everything starts going bad, these junglemen come out of the trees and they're covered in like a black piping sap that just makes it all look like Spider-Man costumes. So it looks like these 8 Spider-Men are coming down out of the thing. Like when the action stops and it's close up, you can tell it's just like this black stuff that's over top of them. But in the action scenes, they even try to make it look like Spider-Man. The movie is just really bad. Adam Scott did his best to try to make it.
He was good in it.
He was good in it. Adam Scott was good. He was the only one. And again, I don't even know how much blame goes to the actors in this film because there was nothing to work with. This was really bad. And again, they should have adopted the David Zaslav approach and just scrapped this movie and saved the tarnishing of the Sony Spider-Verse reputation even more. They should have just scrapped this movie and then held out for Craven. But
That final shot, they should have started the movie from that shot right there.
that could have been the start of the movie, and it would have been more interesting. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's Madam Web. I just told you the movie. You don't have to see it now. You're welcome. But hey, if you're morbidly curious, go check it out. Or morbiously curious, go check it out.
Oh.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.